I wanted to share a story with y'all. It's a true story. I won't give too many details because it involves other people or another person, but it is something that happened to me. By the way, hi, it's your girl Shantae, Airplane Ethereal. Thanks for listening. So, I remember y'all, I was dating this young man, dating this young fella, and we were in the early stages of getting to know each other, and he was coming to my home for the very first time. And because of a previous relationship that I had been in, I didn't want to reveal myself to him too soon. I wanted to kind of slowly reveal myself. And I thought that was the best thing to do because I didn't want to run him away, number one. I didn't want to scare him away. And I really just didn't want to scare him away. I didn't want it too much too soon. And I also wanted to, I guess, maintain a sense of mystery, to a degree. But this fellow was like most men. I live in the South, y'all. Most men of African American descent in the South they're Christians. They have a background in the church and believe in, you know, traditional religion, right? And I had made it clear to him that I was more of a spiritual being. I'm a spiritual being. And I didn't have like a regimen religious practice, but we talked. I'll just say we talked about our beliefs, and believe it or not, I felt like we were aligned, but I also felt like there was a sense of taboo when it came to him and his perception of uh, spirituality. So I knew that certain things he was not cool with, you know. And anyway, fast forward to him coming to my home for the first time. If you know me, you know that I'm a spiritual girly and I have my crystals, I have my herbs, you can tell that I just practice spirituality and I'm connected to nature. It's very much present in my environment, right? And I have my books. I'm very connected to my books. My books mean a lot to me. I've collected a lot of really good books over the past few years and, you know, hope to collect more. But anyway, this young man was finding his way to my home, and I went into a cleaning frenzy. But not just cleaning, but also hiding. And I hid a lot of my like spiritual books, and not all of my spiritual books, but the ones that were just like too much, too much. And, a few of my crystals and my little herbs and, my little things. And I just kind of put them away because I didn't want him all up in my business, number one. And I didn't want to reveal too much of me too soon. But he got here, it was fine. It was all good. And he did still, kind of tap into my energy. He tapped into the energy of my home. And I found that he was very just curiously looking around. He was very intrigued by my books. Like he would always look through my books and just kind of skim through some of the books I had. And, anyway, fast forward, we didn't necessarily have a lasting relationship. And I just wondered to myself, like, why did I feel the need to like hide that part of myself? If I went to his home, and he had like, let's say, his spiritual beliefs, and I don't think he would have probably felt the need to, like hide them. But what that helped me to understand was that when it comes to like my my male counterpart, I'm not going to have to hide those parts of myself. I thought that he would not see the value in my spirituality. I thought that he would see only the dark side of my spirituality, the part that is connected to taboo things like, witchcraft and shadows and spirits and things that that tend to make people uncomfortable, right? And people don't like to be uncomfortable. So I thought that my spirituality would make him uncomfortable. So I hid the things that were a part of me, and I never did that before. Um, I am who I am, and I know who I am, so I don't really ever feel the need to explain or, give any kind of like disclaimer. What I really believe in is being respectful, and I feel like respect should be a two-way street. So whatever my beliefs are, I'm allowed to have, and vice versa. But the most important thing is that that was an indicator. The fact that I had to hide those things. And I remember having a conversation with that same person who was very uncomfortable with my crystals. The few crystals I did leave out, he was still very uncomfortable with. And, he felt that they were just not, in alignment with his beliefs, which I respect. And I told him, I'll put my crystals away. I'll put them away. And I went around my home and I packed up my crystals. And oh my God, I almost want to cry. I put my crystals in my closet, like I just put them away. And I remember when doing it, I did it in thinking, I was like, I love my crystals. My crystals really have supported my journey so much. And they have been an important part of my healing process. And I've tapped into the science of my crystals so many times. But I remember putting them away in that closet and thinking to myself, I'm elevating. And my crystals have served me. And now I'm moving into the part of my life where love, unconditional love, is real. And unconditional love is present. So if I have to put my crystals away for just a little bit until this person who means so much to me, until he's more comfortable, if he ever becomes more comfortable, then it'll be worth it. And that was one of the biggest mistakes I made. Not because, I owe my crystals anything, but because I was denying myself and denying that person of the true me. This is who I am. This is who I am. And I thought I was doing it in the name of unconditional love, but that's the thing. If it was unconditional, there would have never been the condition of put your crystals away. Not that he asked me to, but he indirectly did because he was so uncomfortable, around them. And that should have been a sign for me because it didn't work out. Me and him didn't work out. He ended up being somebody that was less than good character. His integrity was crap. And it didn't work out, right? And I never went right back and got my crystals out of that closet. I let them sit there for a few months until one day I don't know if it was some kind of moon cycle and I wanted to just kind of reconnect with them, but I went and got them and I just felt so disappointed in myself because I let someone come in my home, my environment, my life, and change me. After all the work I had done, after all the love I had poured into myself, I was going to change that. I remember the very first time I started connecting to crystals, and I remember how much my life started to change, how much I started to heal. And I knew that there was just such a beautiful technology with crystals that was just undeniable. And I was putting them away, hiding them, and hiding my books, the knowledge that I had been afforded through the books to free myself. But that was a test for me. This spiritual journey is about tests, y'all. It's about having tests as we level up. And that was a test for me. And what I learned was that never, ever, 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 never, 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 ever, ever will I let someone come in my life and change me, change the foundation or attempt to change the foundation of myself. Because who is for you and who will truly assist you in a symbiotic, beautiful way will never require you to give up on the things that make you you. So I just wanted to share that. I am going to actually be doing read-alongs for some of my books, starting with the book Creative Visualization. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to do the whole book for the month of April. Every month I'd like to do a new book, but let's just start with this book and get through. Again, that's Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain. If you want to read along, you can either download a digital copy or you can just purchase the book. It's one of those books that are a go-to. Like, you're going to have mad highlight, mad notes in them. And I'm just looking forward to us reading it together or doing it as a read-along, knowing that you guys will be listening and possibly following along, because I just feel like it just makes it makes the information more penetrable when there's a collective experience. So, yeah, join in if you're free on Wednesdays. All right, y'all, I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. Divine wellness, as always. Bye-bye.